Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Girirara Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today we have with us His Holiness Bhakti Arjav Priti Vardhan Swami Maharaj. I'll give a brief intro about Maharaj and then request Maharaj to continue with the class. As today we are going to study from 7th canto, 14th chapter. So Maharaj began associating with the devotees in Prague in winter of 1991. In the next year, when he was 23 years old, he completed MSc in Chemistry and Electronics from Institute of Chemical Technology in Prague, Czech Republic. Right after that, he traveled to Vrindavan to study Bhakti Sastri with VIHE along with one another devotee. He traveled over land using trains and buses as a mode of transportation. Firstly, he traveled to Istanbul, Turkey via train, and then by Suez Canal to Asia, Iranian border, Bahrain, and then via Baluchistan to Pakistan. In Lahore, he crossed the border of Amritsar, and from there he took the train to Delhi, and then lastly to Vrindavan. After VIHE courses in October 1992, he proceeded to the Braj Mandal Parikram. He realized, however, that he wanted to go back to Europe. He did not want to go back to Europe to live a consumer life, but that he wanted to stay in Vrindavan. Afterwards, in November 1992, he took up service in Vrindavan, working with Dinabandhu Prabhu and Devasakti Mataji in the mail-out department for a few months. In April 1993, he went to Mayapur to visit Gurukul, about which he had heard a lot. He had previously met His Holiness Bhakti Vidyapurna Swami Maharaj in 1992 in Hungary, preaching in ISKCON temples and farms outside universities and homes of the devotees. He also had been conducting comprehensive seminars on Srimad Bhagavatam, Updeshamrit and Mahaprabhu Shiksashtaka in Mayapur and Baroda since 2012. And then after Maharaj was um, initiated as a sannyasi. Previously, he was known as a Priti Vardhan Prabhu, and after sannyas, he has been known as His Holiness Bhakti Arjav Priti Vardhan Swami Maharaj. So we request Maharaj to please give his association by this Bhagavatam class, and we invite and greet Maharaj by chanting one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you can hear properly?
Yes, yes, Maharaj, we can hear.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 14th chapter, and then verse 18. Tasmad Brahmana Deveshu Martyadishu Yatarhataha Taistai Kamar Yasat Vainam Kshetragyam Brahmanan Anu. Tasmat, therefore, Brahmana Deveshu, through the Brahmanas and the demigods, Martya Adishu, through ordinary human beings and other living entities, Yatha Artaha, according to your ability, Tai, with all those, Kamaihi, various objects for enjoyment, such as sumptuous food, flower garlands, sandal paste, etc. Yajaswa, you should worship Enam, this Kshetragyam, Supreme Lord, situated in the hearts of all beings. Brahmanan, the Brahmanas. Anu, after. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, my dear king, first offer prasada under the Brahmanas and the demigods, and then after sumptuously feeding them, you may distribute prasad to other living entities according to your ability. In this way, you will be able to worship all living entities, or in other words, the supreme living entity within every living entity. Purport. To distribute prasad to all living entities, the process is that we must first offer prasad to the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, for the demigods are represented by the Brahmanas. In this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, will be worshipped. This is the Vedic system of offering prasad. Whenever there is a ceremony for distribution of prasad, the prasad is offered first to the Brahmanas, then to the children and old men, then to the women, and then to animals like dogs and other domestic animals. When it is said that Narayan, the Supreme Being, is situated in everyone's heart, this does not mean that everyone has become Narayan or that a particular poor man has become Narayan. Such a conclusion is rejected herein. So, now I would like to read, just give me a few seconds, I have to get through it. What we read here, that's very important. These are the system of the ideal life, ideal grihastha life. And just almost there. Okay. So I just wanted to say that when I think of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, then the first thing I immediately see perfect Vaishnava. But besides that, also a perfect gentleman. And I remember how Bhakti Charu Maharaj was speaking about his discussions with Srila Prabhupada. No, one of his last days on the planet here. And as Srila Prabhupada was confining in him that he sees that the mission of Krishna consciousness is halfway fulfilled, but still half is to be fulfilled. And the half, he talks about Varnashrama. So I see that Bhakti Charu Maharaj, he did a lot to properly establish a system which would be able, and all the devotees would be able to take care of or advantage of. So this, the ideal family life, the whole chapter, it's very nicely describing the duties of the grihastas, which they are the core of the whole Varnashrama system. So now we will not have enough time to describe or to discuss too many things. But I would like to read the chapter summary, just few paragraphs. And I find that there are some very nice points which we can talk about, and we can see now how it is important to apply it in our lives, and how we can fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada and the desire of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. So in the chapter summary, so it's the 14th chapter of the 7th canto. This chapter describes the occupational duties of the householder according to the time, the country, and the performer. When Yudhishthira Maharaj became very much inquisitive about the occupational duties for the householder, Narada Muni advised him that the Grihasta's first duty is to be fully dependent on Vasudeva, Krishna, and to try to satisfy him in all respects by executing one's prescribed devotional service. This devotional service will depend on the instructions of authorities and the association of devotees who are actually engaged in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is Shravanam, or hearing. One must hear from the mouths of realized souls. In this way, the Grihasta's attraction to his wife and children will gradually be reduced. So I would like to stop here now, and we can talk a little bit. So we see there are so many examples of how you hear from the teachers, how you hear from the sadhus. For example, Narada Muni. He, being a little kid, he is he could be playing around. He could be so many things, wasting time. But he wasn't. He was very eager. Eager for what? He was eager to hear from Mahabhagavatas, who actually were visiting his place. He was eager to take their Mahaprasad. And the result of was that he became self-realized. So Shravanam, that's the very first way how we actually get to the knowledge, how we get the instruction. One has to learn how to hear. In fact, education, right, in Upanishads is described. Education is divided into 4 parts: Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. These are first 3. Shravanam, meaning the student, he hears. He hears the teacher. He also reading or acquiring the knowledge from others, other media. That's all under the Shravanam. The Shravanam gives him knowledge. The Shravanam should lead him to be beyond doubt, to clear his doubts. But that's not it. That he learned something, that doesn't mean that now he knows how to use it. So Mananam is the next stage in which then the student contemplates. He contemplates about what he has learned. He is actually deliberating. He is thinking of how he is going to use knowledge in his life. So he is contemplating certain things and how he can apply what he had learned. Example, he may learn from his mother how to cook some rice, for example, how to cook roti. You are more into the rotis, so okay, how to cook chapati. Now he may hear the recipe. Okay, take some atta, mix some water, and then knead it for some time. And then when it's good consistency, then you take little pieces, make a balls, roll it out, and then on the tawa, you heat it up, then put it on the flame, and chapati is done. Now, so he hears that, and then he may say, okay, now I know how to cook roti. But who cooks knows that that's not exactly how it works. If you don't know how the roti looks like, if you don't know what exactly you are supposed to do, then it's unlikely that he will come up with some proper chapati. So now what he needs, okay, he learns, he hears the recipe, and then he needs to now contemplate, okay, what am I supposed to do? Okay, put the flour. Okay, how much? Put water. How much water? No, okay, this much. He go, Mom, can you tell me please now how much to put, how the dough should be like, and how to knead it, how long to knead it, and all that. Then through association, then he can get the proper result. And the result, when he applies the knowledge, then he will be able, after deliberating, to come to the realization, which is the nididhyasana. When he realizes the knowledge, then he is able to then teach it to others. So these are the 4 stages. Now, we are trying to learn. We are trying to become proper devotees. And now we are talking about the ideal family life. So as a part of the Grihastha duty is not only that we become good devotees, but we also have to see that our children will become good devotees. So how do we do that? Now the clue is one must hear from the mouths of realized souls. In this way, the Grihastha's attraction to his wife and children will gradually be reduced. Now, this sentence can be misunderstood. This sentence can be taken, so then he becomes devotee, become a pure devotee, so then he will just reject his wife, he will reject his children, and then he doesn't care anymore. So this is great misunderstanding. But he is, no, if the grihastha performs his duties properly, so then what happens? It happens that he giving the best, the proper attention, the proper affection to his children and to his wife, then he will see that he is doing his best, and therefore he will fulfill his duty. See, like example, Kardama Muni. He married Devahuti, and then before having children, the description in the Bhagavatam is that they were flying throughout the universe and just enjoying themselves. So Kardama Muni gave a lot of attention, a lot of affection to his wife. She was fully satisfied. And before they got into the marriage, so then Kardama Muni also had said, I will give you son. The son will then be my representative, but as soon as you get the son, and the son is not able to take care of you, I will leave. I will take sannyas. She was happy. He was happy. And the whole relationship was understood. So he is taking proper care. He is giving the attention. Then they enjoy. After that, with the proper consciousness, then they have children. Now, the child, 9 daughters were born to him and 1 son. Now, the child was born as the Supreme Lord himself, Kapiladev. And it was because of the consciousness of the Kardama Muni and Devahuti. Now, of course, then because he is not an ordinary kid, then he was born and he grew up very quickly into a young man. And then when Kapiladev was there to take care of his mother, then Kardama Muni, then he was detached. He, as spoken here, then the attraction to the wife, to the children, gradually reduces. So then he was able to take sannyas. Now, he did not take sannyas because he just gave up on his child. He gave up on his wife. That's because this dharma. So he went and started to focus on preaching and focusing on meditating on the Lord. Kapiladev, his son, he instructed his mother, and after that, she was fully satisfied. She had no regrets for that husband left. And when she got instructed, she got self-realized, she had no regrets that Kapiladev also leaving. So that's the proper way how it can be done. So then the attachment gets reduced. So to do that, then we need to focus on how we train and how we educate our children. We have to see that we are educating the children based on then what they need. What is the best for them? Sometimes, most of the time, we always look for what's best for us. And this is the difference between attachment and affection. Affection and attachment, they externally look very similar. It's there is a relationship, can be friends, right? But now, then okay, why the two friends have a relationship? So as long as it is, okay, I am your friend because now I can take advantage of that. Maybe you're more powerful, so that you have more money. So me being your friend, then I can get advantage of the friendship for myself. That's attachment. Affection is I am your friend and I am eager to do for you whatever you want me to do. So we see in the material world, there is no pure affection, but there is also hard to find pure attachment. It's always mixed. The only pure affection you find between the Lord and the jivas. The Lord, he is always giving. As a super soul, he is always with us. What nonsense we go through, good things, bad things, anything, he is always with us. He is our friend. No, for good times, bad times, he is always there. And he is never upset. He is always giving us the opportunity that we can advance. Like an example, now you can see the child, he is playing in the sandbox. Father is there with him, and he is just watching the child. Now the child, he is now playing, and he's maybe creating some castles, and he has army, and he's fighting, and then he is just in his own world. The child, he forgets about his father. He's so absorbed in the activities, he forgets his father. Now the father, he is not upset because of this. The father, he is happy watching the child. Now, after some time, the child gets tired. Getting evening, he's hungry, he's tired. What is the father going to do? Right? The child says, okay, I have enough of playing. Please, no, father, take me home. I want to eat, I want to sleep. So now the father, what is he going to do? He is going, what? You are playing the whole time, not thinking about me, and now I'm supposed to take care of you? The father will never say that. The father will be very happy that, my dear child, okay, so I am very happy you had nice time. Now please come and I'll take care of you. So it's like this. Krishna, he is watching us, and we are playing in the sand, and we are fighting, and we are doing this, and we are doing that. And Krishna is just smiling. He is watching, and he is waiting. Waiting for what? When we get tired. When we get tired of playing around. Then, as soon as we are tired, then we go to our father, and please, father, take me home. Please, my child, you come with me. We go right now. So this is the important element to come to. And how do we do that? No? Being affectionate. So to see now what is important in our life, what is important is our duty. So Varnashrama Dharma, Daivi Varnashrama Dharma, establishes our duties. So brahmacharis have some duties, grihastas have some duties, vanaprasthas have some duties, and sannyasis have some duties. So these are the ashramas. And fulfilling those duties, then we can work on elevation of our consciousness. So what we are trying here, that we work on ourselves so we become eligible for become devotees, practice devotional service, ideally pure devotional service. That's what we want. So, but at the same time, we may have some few anarthas. we may have some attachments. So therefore, we get married, right? Because the marriage itself, we cannot say this is Krishna conscious activity. Okay, I want to get married, no, because now I have some attachments, and through getting married, I can get rid of the attachment. So then, if brahmachari follows the duties of the brahmachari, he will get to the ultimate destination. If grihastha follows the duties of a grihastha, he will get the same result. And if vanaprastha and sannyasi follows their dharma, they will get the same. But if the brahmachari, then he has desires that these desires are very difficult to fulfill in the brahmachari life, or vanaprastha or sannyas. Okay, so then he gets married. But when he gets married, he is performing his duties perfectly. And when he does that, so at the end of his grihastha life, what's going to happen? He will realize that I have put so much of energy into my wife, into my children, but the result I'm getting, it's not a good business. So therefore, he will be able to develop just pure affection, seeing how he can make sure that the wife is properly situated, the children are properly situated, and be able to walk out with the proper mood to be able to meditate on the Lord. We see example of Anga Maharaj. Anga Maharaj, great devotee. But what happened is that his wife, she was not really not that great devotee. So that during the union, then the consciousness of Anga Maharaj was not Krishna, but of his wife not. And therefore, a child was born who was not really a nice child. It was Vena, King Vena. Not king yet. So Anga Maharaj, being responsible devotee, king, husband, and father, he was performing his duties perfectly. And he tried for 12 years, he tried to reform Vena. But when he realized that he cannot do that, then he understood this is Krishna's arrangement. So he was able to walk out of the situation of which was the kingdom, and he was the king of the whole earth and more. But he was able to walk out without attachment. That's the realization. That's what it means, that the attachments will diminish. And he fulfilled the goal of his life. But he was able to do that only because he did his duties perfectly. If it would be that he as a father then did not complete his duties, he didn't do things perfectly, and his son is not doing good, then he will feel guilt. He will be guilty. Oh, it's because of I didn't give him attention at the time. Oh, because I didn't do this for him. Oh, I didn't give him time. That's because of me he is like this. Then the father, then he will feel guilt. Because of the guilt, he will not want to fix it. He will feel that, okay, I can still do something about it. But he doesn't understand that there's nothing much at the time he can do. But that was not the case of Anga Maharaj. He did everything perfectly. And he saw that I had done everything. There is nothing much I can do, nothing more I can do. and therefore he was free to leave. So if in a Grihastha life, the Grihastha performs his duties perfectly, then there is no regret, there is no guilt, there is a freedom. Freedom in that one can fully surrender to the Lord. So then, how that can be done? What can we do? Right? What Grihasthas can do? So the first thing which they should be following is to see that the child will get the best opportunities to become a devotee. Now, and how to do that? Now, one way, great way how to do it is to perform samskaras, Dashavida samskaras for the children. Starting with Garbharana samskara. Srila Prabhupada describes in Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, in the first purport. It's a chapter, divine and demoniac qualities. And he says, if you want your child to develop divine qualities, then you should perform the 10 principles of human life for the child. The 10 principles of human life, it's referred to the 10 samskaras. So this is what the Grihastha can do. So Garbharana samskara, now being done for the child, it benefits the child the way that it depends on the consciousness of the husband and wife exactly at the time of the union. If both the husband and wife are Krishna conscious, then they will surely attract jiva of the same consciousness. So the combined consciousness of the husband and wife attracts the consciousness, the jiva of the same consciousness. So if it's Krishna conscious, then they attract jiva who is also Krishna conscious into the womb. So immediately from the very beginning, then you are getting a child then who has a tendency to be very Krishna conscious, a devotee. Now, the other samskaras which are done to develop the good qualities in the child, to make him beautiful, strong, to make him focused, determined. And everything is done through approaching the Lord. Please, Lord, make the child strong, make him knowledgeable, make him focused, determined, beautiful, healthy. So that's the duty of the Grihastha to do that. But the samskara has some very important stipulation. Is a ritual, but samskara is not about ritual. Samskara is done as a ritual, but it's done for the purpose to elevate consciousness of those who are involved. So the consciousness of the husband, consciousness of the wife, and consciousness of the child. That's what the samskara is meant for. So if the samskara is done just for the sake of just doing the ritual, but there is no intention for the consciousness to be changed, the samskara didn't work. If the samskara is done to change the consciousness, then it has the effect. So there are many samskaras, and these all together, they work like you give it to your child as a credit. Now, many people, they worry so much about child, so they start saving for the child. When child is born, some start saving for him. So when he becomes 18 years old or when he becomes adult, then you give him the savings so he can use them as he wants. So we care so much about that. But what about caring about what qualities the child will have? What consciousness will the child have? That we cannot do by saving in some bank account. So this is how we can help to develop the consciousness of the child, to develop the character of the child through the samskaras. And that's not it. So that's one part what the grihastha can do for the child. The samskaras, they consist, you can say, of like a 40% of the consciousness, or of the effect on the consciousness or on the character of the child. 60% is by the association. So how will you associate with the child? What will you do? Now, how will you let the child associate with? With whom? How? Example, we see Ajamil. He was a great brahmachari. He was excellent brahmachari. But, so he got the samskaras, he got everything, but at some point in his life, he got into bad association. Through the bad association, then he fell down. Now, he fell down and he was associating with prostitute, and then he had children with her, and he was doing so many sinful activities. Okay. But at the end of his life, he was able to call Narayan, which of course it was his son, but he was able to call Narayan. And then the Acharyas also explained that he was able to call because of his training. He had the training, he had the basis. So even if it happens that the child, at some point he chooses to do some nonsense in his life, it's going to be only temporary. The child, we put our effort, we give him the best, he will be able to get from it or use that for the rest of his life. So if the grihasthas properly focus on then just how to give the proper samskaras and proper association to the child, then this is the most of their duties fulfilled. If they can do it well, then they will not feel at all guilty in anything in their life, and that will lead to that they will be able to focus on Krishna consciousness much more deeply, then no regrets at the end of their life. Now, the samskaras, they are very important. I just want to mention also that they are so important that, okay, Srila Prabhupada mentioned about. Now, we have to also consider, then, okay, why should we do it? Now, the argument could be that there is a book, Satkriya Saradipika, which describes all these samskaras. And for your consideration, then the book was written by Gopal Bhatta Goswami himself, right? So then in that, then we may now consider that why would Goswami write some mundane book? And yes, we are right. Goswami would not write a mundane book. So a Goswami, he has no time to write anything mundane. So in fact, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he wrote the book for the benefit of the grihasthas so that they can, by living grihastha life, become fully Krishna conscious and become pure devotees. The book is of such an importance that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, now he made sure that all his grihastha couples have this book and follow this book. That's what he considered the importance of it. So he made it translated into Bengali from Sanskrit, and all the grihasthas would follow it. So it's not something mundane. We may think, anyway, just chant Hare Krishna and I'll be fine. Now everything is fine. So if you just want to chant Hare Krishna, why did you get married? Just chant Hare Krishna, forget marriage. But you got married because you want to chant Hare Krishna and you want to also do some other things. And among the other things, then you have duties. So therefore, among the duties is to take care of your wife and of your child. And not to do that, then you have to take care of that you perform the samskaras and you make sure that the proper association is given to the child. If that's there, then yes, your duty as a grihastha was fully accomplished, and then you can walk out with no regrets and no bad feelings, and you can continue and going for the depths of Krishna consciousness. So now there may be some questions, because we can talk more. It was more like just like introduction. It's 45 minutes is not enough. So if you have some questions, then please ask the questions now, so then maybe we can discuss more in depth what do you want to know.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj Dandapranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Maharaj, for your wonderful realizations and emphasizing on this, especially on the Varnashram and all. Like Maharaj, in this verse is mentioned that one should offer the bhoga, like one should offer the prasadam for the demigods, like it's mentioned. So like that can be considerable and appreciable, but generally in India, especially, people offer the bhoga to the demigods. So like my question is that, like, are they really the demigods accepting that bhoga? Because if they are the Vaishnavas, then they should not. And if they are not, if they are not accepting, then how they are fulfilling the desires of their followers? Like both.
Okay, look, it's like this. Lord Shiva, he is very merciful. So he takes any offering, right? Whatever, somebody offers him. Demigods, they take. But if we offer bhoga to the demigods don't eat that. Then if they do, they first offer it themselves to the Lord. So similar way, like when you are doing offering, right? You are not able to approach the Lord directly. So you are approaching the Lord through your spiritual master. And that's the bona fide way. So now the people who are foolish, they think that demigods are the supreme Lord. And they are offering that to them as a supreme Lord. The demigods don't take it. But if you offer the demigods the prasad from the Lord, they are Vaishnavas and they are at most happy to take that. So they will be very grateful when you offer them prasad. And you can take the remnants of that prasad, which was offered first to the Lord, then to the demigods, so like Lord Shiva, and then you have Mahaprasad. So the proper approach is the consciousness. Now, if you are approaching the demigod as the Supreme Lord, then you are a fool, and they will not accept. But if you are approaching the demigod as a Vaishnava and you are trying to render service to him, they will be very grateful. Like, for example, the people during Kali Puja, they offer so many goats to Kali Devi. But Kali, she is vegetarian. She doesn't need all that. She's not eating any of that. So all the goats which are offered to her, they go to her associates, the Bhutas, Paishachas. So what the people eat, they actually eat the bhut prasad, nothing else. So that's their desire, that's their consciousness. So Lord arranges. But if you understand the proper way, okay, that they are actually servants of the Lord. So because they are servants, they would like to take something from their master. So then Krishna says, okay, offer to me. Patram pushpam palam toyam. So you offer that to him and offer that to the demigod. They will be very happy. So it's needed to understand Guru Sadhu Shastra, then it can be properly applied. So we have a problem offering prasad to the demigods as a Vaishnavas, but we will not offer bhoga to the demigods thinking that they are the Supreme Lord. Is that okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you for the answer to this question. There is another question, Maharaj. Thank you for sharing your realization on this verse. My question is how to protect ourselves from in brahmachari life, as mind is very powerful and keep convincing that I can adjust in outside world also. If any way I have to leave ashram, it shows very attractive picture of very happy Krishna conscious family and comfortable life ahead. But we know it's nearly impossible for us to maintain our spiritual life standard working outside for maintaining family.
Okay, now to this. In my experience from the Gurukul, I can say that the boys, they come here as a brahmacharis. But the ratio of that the boys who remain Nashtika brahmacharis and who are the Upakurvana brahmacharis, or those who get married eventually, then it's 1 to 20. So for 20 Upakurvana brahmacharis, there is 1 Nashtika brahmachari. That's what I see the ratio among the boys. So now one should definitely be a brahmachari for some time in his life. But very few will be able to remain Nashtika brahmacharis. So, okay, fine. So does that mean that the 20 will not be Krishna conscious? That's not true at all. We have to be very honest to ourselves. The Nashtika brahmachari, he does not have as many anarthas or desires or whatever it is. He is able to control the mind such a way that he can maintain the duty of being a brahmachari throughout his life. So if that can be done and he is not being disturbed by oh, maybe the grihastha life is better, what should I do? Like Chanakya Pandit says, right? If you don't know if you should eat or not eat, then okay, don't eat. If you don't know whether you should get married or not, get married. So now there's a significance in it. We have to be very honest and seeing how our attachments are. Because if we maintain, okay, I'm a brahmachari, I will not marry, all the women, they are bad, I don't care about, I'm just pure brahmachari. We do that, then most likely these are the brahmacharis who get married first. We cannot have some like a hate towards or attachment towards, because ultimately it's just other side of the attachment. We need to maintain the balance. So no, the balance is to be seen. And every no girl, every mother, every lady is seen as a mother. If he can do that and follow that throughout his life, perfect. If he cannot, and if he sees the attachments are that, I would like to also to spend some time in maybe more opulence. I want my better room. I want AC. I want my car. I want to be recognized in the society. I want to have position. So as a brahmachari, you may not get, but as a grihastha, yes, you can try for it. It will be very costly, but you can still get it. So if the needs are there, and the needs doesn't have to be gross, it doesn't have to be necessarily sex only. The needs can be, when I'm sick, and in the brahmachari ashram, just nobody really cares. They just come and then only ask, give us some prasad, but nobody is there to pat me on the head. Nobody is there to talk with me. I need somebody to do that for me. So what should I do? So your wife will do that for you. So then, okay, the needs are there. So the needs have to be addressed. So, and then because of that, then that will be better for the brahmachari to then think of that he is upakurvana, not nashtika. Upakurvana, then he is a brahmachari for a certain period of time. He may give vow to himself 12 years or 6 years or just 1 year. But for that period, he is very strict brahmachari, living in the Guru's ashram. Then later on, then he graduates, becomes snataka, and he is now ready to find a way how he can get married. So become grihastha. But as Srila Prabhupada describes, there is no difference between the brahmachari and grihastha. If the grihastha follows the four regulative principles, that's what grihastha means. Who does not follow, then griha married. But grihastha follows the four regulative principles. So he is also called as a grihastha brahmachari because he is not having sex. His only time when he is having sex, it's for procreation as a Garbharana samskara. And then because of that, by the Shastra, by Krishna, it's not called this as a sex. So therefore, he is also free of sex desire. And when he does what we were discussing before, that he gives full attention, he gives full affection to his wife, to his children, take care. It's very exhausting, but he will fulfill his duty. He will be satisfied. And then now the desires which he was having before coming into the ashram, the grihastha ashram, it will be fulfilled. So then he will be able to walk out of the grihastha ashram, enter in the vanaprastha and sannyasa ashram. So that's what it should be done. Yes.
Thank you for that wonderful answer, Maharaj. Shivam Tiwari Prabhu is asking, Maharaj, we see that even in the family of good Krishna conscious devotees, at times the children are not able to favorably accept Krishna consciousness. Maharaj, can you please enlighten?
Yeah, we mentioned that Anga Maharaj. That's a nice example from the Bhagavatam. Vena was not Krishna conscious, but Anga Maharaj was pure devotee. So it happens. But because Anga Maharaj did his best, and even though he could not change the character, the consciousness of Anga Maharaj, then he was not dissatisfied. He did not have to be feeling guilty, regret anything, because he did his best. So he could walk out of the grihastha ashram with full satisfaction that he had done things without attachments to now focus on meditation on the Lord. That's what he did. So sometimes it happens like that. So everybody is individual jiva. So we have to do our best for that particular jiva to make sure that he can take up Krishna consciousness. But if he decides later on he doesn't want to, what can we do? If we did not do everything for the child, what we could have by attention, affection, then we regret, we feel guilty. And to fix it later on, not possible. But if we did everything, and there is nothing which we could have done differently. So, okay, he wants to pursue his life this way. What can I do? Krishna will take care of him some way. And we can do our duties undisturbed. Yes?
Thank you, Maharaj. Another question here is, I read your wonderful book and understood the play of modes of nature on our consciousness. As a grahastha, when we are working in outside world, somehow we are so gripped by the mode of passion, and we are completely captured and possessed by such fruitive desires, which may not be favorable to allow our focus on pure devotional service. And therefore, we may be passing similar desire to our children unknowingly. What we should do what we should do in such a situation to ensure that we pass Srila Prabhupada teachings to our children in rightful manner so they can become inseparable part of our movement. Your servant Manudas.
Okay, look, first of all, it depends in which environment you are. So, because it's your association with people you are, association with the environment, association with the things you are using. And there are three gunas at work. So if you are in an environment which is tamasic, you will get affected by that and you will also become tamasic. If it's rajasic, you become rajasic. If it's sattvic, you become sattvic, at least to some extent. And then based on what you are, what consciousness, what level of consciousness you are on, you are affecting others. So now living in the cities is rajasic, right? So then it will be very difficult. So what people living, devotees living in the cities, they have to be very conscious about association. They have to so much come together and discuss Krishna conscious topics, so that the rajas of the city doesn't affect them. It's not easy. But if you situate yourself in some place which is sattvic, then naturally, for the children, it will work. For you, it will work. Just the environment. That's why Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj created the Gurukul, and the Gurukul is full of gardens and all sattvic environment. So then, even without doing much, then the environment already affects the children on some more like sattvic platform. And from sattvic platform to take them to Krishna conscious platform is always much easier. So that's what we have to do. If we are living in the city, so we know we are affected by that. So we have to, by association, conscious association, we have to really try to counteract as much as possible the influence of the Rajaguna. If we are in sattvic environment, then we will have less work needed to be done, because the gunas will help us to work on the consciousness of the children. And if we are in some tamasic environment, get out of there. No, that's not good at all. Yes?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you for that answer. Arjun Chauhan is requesting, when the senses are agitated, even spiritual knowledge doesn't work. Then why to gather such knowledge? Please enlighten.
When spiritual knowledge?
When the senses are agitated,
Okay.
even spiritual knowledge doesn't work. Then why to gather such knowledge?
Okay. Now, you just said it. Senses are agitated. And what does that mean? So then the anarthas in the heart, they agitate the senses, and not through the senses we are getting attached. So we choose to what we get attached to. Every living entity has one attachment. It's one unit. And you choose, it's Krishna or it's Maya. It's your choice. If your heart is pure, free of anarthas, to focus on Krishna, it's easy. Such a devotee, it's on the platform of Nishtha. He is free of the gross anarthas, and to perform devotional service, it's easy for him. So he is performing the Nishtha Bhakti. A devotee now who is still having anarthas in the heart, then it will be anishtita. He is unsteady. So sometimes he sees some attachment. Oh, I would like to go for that. But okay, I know that it's not good for me, so I will not do it. So he is going back and forth. Sometimes more this way, sometimes more that way. So now the senses we choose. Do we want the senses to now be agitated or not? Now, seemingly, we have no choice over it, but we do. Our choice is what anarthas we keep in the heart. If you have the anartha in the heart, then it's only because you want it. And when the anartha is in the heart, then when the mind gets exposed to the situation which actually correspond to the anartha, then immediately it starts acting. Anartha is the papa bija, is the seed of desire. If the desire, for example, is for sex, so as long as now there is no any way to be agitated by sex, okay, he's not thinking. But as soon as some object comes and he sees some beautiful woman, then the man, oh, she's so nice, and then immediately start thinking about sex. So that thought comes because of the anartha, and from that it starts growing. So the bija starts growing into desire. So, and then one start thinking, right? Okay, oh yeah, she's so nice. So then next is feeling. Oh, that will be so nice to be in her association. No, I can enjoy like that. And when the person keeps contemplating, then he comes to the stage of willing. Oh, I would like to have her. I decide I want to have her, to enjoy her. And that's it. The senses, we got agitated to the point that we decided, now with the mind, I want to enjoy, I want to have. But it starts because of the anartha. Now, if there is no anartha, like in the case of Shukadeva Goswami, no, he didn't have anartha for sex, and he was 16-year-old boy, now running naked outside, and he had just next to him there were some naked girls. He didn't notice them. They didn't care about him. They didn't even cover themselves. They didn't feel ashamed. Why? Because he was completely oblivious. No anartha. But when Vyasadev, who was at the time Grihastha, so they immediately covered themselves. No? So we can get rid of the anarthas. And the anarthas, it's going to be a lot of effort, but through devotional service, through chanting of the holy name, we can get rid of the anarthas. But there is another stipulation, and that is that we have to want to get rid of the anarthas. Because if we maintain the desire for that particular anartha or anarthas. So even the chanting of the holy name still will not remove them. Krishna, he will not take by force anything from us what we are attached to. So if we chant the holy name with the desire to get rid of the anarthas, but really not just saying it, or at least be neutral, the holy name will fully take care. But if we maintain them, and it's not difficult to maintain the anarthas, because the anarthas, they form our false ego. The ahankar is formed by the anarthas. Now, I am known among people because no, I am attached to some good things, money, and listening to nice music, my attachments, and because of that, my friends like me. So if I give up this, where will I get my friends? No, I'm not giving it up. No, I will do devotional service, but I will still maintain my thing. Yes, we maintain our anarthas. And Srila Prabhupada, he said, even the attachment for one rasagula will keep you here. So we have to be careful that at the end of our life, we are ready to give up all the anarthas, everything. So if we can do that, then we are safe. So that's what we should work on. It's a very vast topic. You don't have the time to get into everything. Okay, so then last question now.
Yeah, this was the last, Maharaj. Thank you very
Okay.
much for your thank you very much for giving us your time and association through this Bhagavatam class. You nicely explained about the ideal grahastha life, and also when there were the questions that what should be a brahmachari doing in his Krishna consciousness, how he can maintain his brahmacharya. That answers were also like so much helpful to us. So we thank you from our heart, and we also request you, Maharaj, that whenever this pandemic situation is settled and all the situation becomes normal, please visit us in Ujjain and give your association in Ujjain as well.
Okay, I will be very happy to do so.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
met once in Baroda to you during I think two years back when you visited Baroda, and you had association with Sugosh
Right.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Fair
So
enough.
we offer our gratitude and thanks by chanting one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. His Holiness Bhakti Arjav Priti Vardhan Swami Maharaj ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare